Doppelganger, Sobowtór is out in theaters, latest Polish espionage thriller, and I have to start with a small rant about the title. Because it's exactly the kind of thing that drives me up the fucking wall. See, Sobowtór, the second word in the title, is the Polish word that means exactly the same thing that the word doppelganger means. So having the title be both of those words in sequence tells me that either the producers thought that the Polish audiences are so stupid that they wouldn't know what doppelganger means, or that Polish audiences are in fact so stupid that they wouldn't know what doppelganger means. And I just get infuriated by either possibility. In any case, the result is an unbelievably dumb version of a title that should have just been doppelganger. Enough of that. The film was directed by Jan Holoubek, stars Jakub Gierszał and Tomasz Szuchart, and remarkably is told in three different languages. Some scenes play out in Polish, some in German, some in French. The film opens after a quick prologue in 1978, when a young man arrives from Poland to Strasbourg and meets his long-lost German family. Turns out his German mother left him in Poland when he was just a baby, and she had to escape to Germany after the war. And now, years later, after living with his adopted family, when his adopted mother died, he finds out he comes there to make a new life for himself. However, at the same time, we begin to follow another man in Poland whose mother has just died, and he finds some papers suggesting that he was actually adopted and his real mother was German. And the story of what the connection is between these two men unfolds from there. Now, going into the film, I knew almost nothing about it, and I have to say I was very positively surprised. I think it's a terrific, engrossing espionage story that is well made on just about every level. The story is really fascinating and apparently inspired by true stories from the period, although not a single real story that happened exactly like this one. I loved how the movie presents a very dirty, raw, unglamorous look at Cold War era espionage and what this espionage did to people. There's an interesting dichotomy in the film where the two central characters, one of them is a man whose identity was effectively stolen, but if you think about it, and as his wife directly points out at one point, maybe the fact that that identity was stolen isn't even that important, because it was stolen abroad, and maybe trying to uncover the long lost past, especially one locked on the other side of the Iron Curtain, one to which he probably wouldn't have access to anyway, leads only to problems, and he should focus on the here and now, on the life he made for himself. But he of course struggles with that. And on the other hand, we have Hans, who is the man he's the one who is doing the stealing, he's stealing the identity, and yet he is also left broken by that act, just as well. He struggles with who he is, with who he becomes, how much misery his actions bring to himself and the people around him. The performances are great. The production design is terrific, although that's kind of a given in a Polish film depicting the communist era. We just happen to have a lot of assets and costumes and reference material from those times readily available, which is why so many of those movies depicting that period made in Poland look so good. I love the cinematography, which is properly grainy and old looking, and does a really good job of visually contrasting the stuff in Poland against the stuff in Strasbourg. There are also some really interesting individual shots here. Particularly, there's a really remarkable pair of shots from the beginning and from the final act of the film, which represent the dual identity thing through imagery evoking the Roman god Janus. The music is fantastic, great mixture of haunting, unnerving score and pop songs from the period as well. I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's a cleverly made film. It tells an interesting story in a way that keeps you invested and keeps you wanting to learn more and learn what happens next. It's tense and tragic and depressing in all the best ways. Really splendid film.